Away, dear brothers. Welcome, listener, to the Forest Brothers podcast. This is 2023, first pod of the year. How do you feel? Listener? Well, you know what? We hope that you all got into the new year well, had some happy holidays, got all the presents that you wanted. We hope for all of it. And we really hope that you're ready for the new year of 2023. As some of you may or may not know, this is the Jordan year. This is the year where you dunk on your haters, where you chase the bag. This is the year of the bag. You grow this year, you make a bag this year, you make a killing. Go chase it. Buy yourself a pair of Jordans every 2 months. Why not? Go ham, go crazy. It's your year. Come on, fam. Come on. But you know me, it's your boy Mutsa Chris Don Makufa back at it again, back in the cut with my brothers Gomez Zulu and Samson. Brothers, let me say hello. Let me start with the boy Sangi and then over to the boy Mangoro. How's about you show the listeners some love in this new year that has come upon us? Over to you, Sangi.
Hello, dear listener. Welcome to the Forest Brothers podcast. Dear listener, it is New Year, New Me. Same me though, because because I'm repping the Arsenal, dear listener, and it's the same old, same old. We're there at the top, languishing, looking at the bottom, seeing the rest of the league struggle. Even our dear Spursy fans here have floundered out of the top four. It's great to see. And I'm so happy to be back here with my two brothers. Great to see you, Mongol. Great to see you, Maury. And very excited to get into today's pod, gents. Very excited to start the new year with the Forest Brothers podcast. Let's get into it, boys.
New year, new possibilities. The Forest Brothers podcast is back, listener. Welcome. Hopefully you're doing well. You got into 2023 all right. The Forest Brothers sure did. Blessings upon blessings. I would hope, listener, this year. As we heard, apparently that you should be buying Jordans every 2 months. I will certainly not be doing that. So I just wanted to put it out there. But yeah, I'd like to also just greet you, listener. I'd like to thank God as well. I think we do have to give some time to actually thank Him for bringing us through a very difficult 2022 and into a new year. So thank God for that. And I'd also like to greet my two fellow brothers here, Mr. Mori, Mr. Masanga. And, the First Brothers podcast is slowly but surely getting there, listener. And without your support, I think we wouldn't be where we are today. So thank you for taking the time, because it's been a year since we've been doing this, and people have been with us through the highs and the lows, and you continue to stay with us, listeners. So it's good to hear. We're back with a bang. Today we're discussing beautiful things, and yeah, let's get into it.
Let's get into it indeed, Mangoro. And yeah, listener, as Mangoro just alluded to here, we have been recording for a full year. You've been with us for a full year, listener. A full year. Our first episode dropped the 2nd of January, 2022. And since then, if you ever go back to those episodes and listen to us now, you can see growth. We're like a little baby. We're growing. We're becoming full functioning adults, on this podcast. So, listener, if you've been rocking with us and you've been seeing the growth and you're seeing the progress, we love you. Keep supporting us. Bigger things to come. So yeah, just keep rocking with us. You see us shining. But yeah, let's move on. Let's get started here, boys. And firstly, let's talk about football since the World Cup and whether, I think we had some expectations about what soccer would look like when we come back from the World Cup because, we expected players to be tired, players to not be giving their all, different things like, oh, what are we going to see from Harry Kane? Is it going to be back to bounce back? What are we going to see from Arsenal without Gabby Jesus in the front lines? What are we going to see from Chelsea? What are we going to see from this and this and that? So I have been surprised, to be honest with you all, because actually the games have been quite lit. They've been actually pretty good. They've exceeded my expectations. We've seen players like Marcus Rashford, he's been doing really well since he came back. Mitrovic, just the same old. One player has kept it consistent though, Kevin De Bruyne. My man has not come back from whatever disease he was feeling from the World Cup. He has It's been quite questionable, but that's my own opinion on that, listener. But anyway, we just want to like talk about a few of the games that we've seen of the last 3 game weeks. Listener, it's been a lot of rapid fire games. Starting on the 26th of December, Boxing Day. First game was Brentford versus Tottenham. It was a 2-2 game. We almost lost. I think Brentford killed us 2-0 in the first half, and then Tottenham came back with two other goals to draw the game. I expected us to fully lose. I thought Ivan Toney would be in jail because of his betting scandal, but alas, he was there on the pitch causing havoc. But yeah, so we're just gonna talk about like a few of the games that we've seen and who's impressed us, who's not, and just get into that. But yeah, you've already heard. For me, I think let me speak on all my Tottenham fans. It's been disappointing. It's like watching paint dry, but watching content dry. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's been hard. It's been a hard watch as a Tottenham supporter. Like it's actually surprising finishing a first half without conceding a couple of goals. Like I don't know why, but clearly something's not right in my club, and I hope that with this January window something happens. We buy a couple of good players. I hope, and yeah, we'll keep it pushing, but. I will say we're not doing as bad as some teams, like Liverpool, for example. Those brothers are suffering. May they continue to suffer. And yeah, we'll stay above you guys for as long as we can. So that's just me. But anyway, let me bring it on to you two boys. Let me actually start with the boys Sangi because, as you've heard, Arsenal are still on top. Fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know how. I don't know why. But they seem to be the most exciting team in the Premier League right now. Actually, maybe Newcastle is. I don't know if it's Arsenal, but or even Brentford. Brentford might even be more exciting in this current moment than Arsenal. But that's just me and my hate. But over to you, Samson. Like, what do you take of how Arsenal's been doing since the World Cup finished?
No, this guy's a comedian. This guy said, he has the self-deprecating jokes. He has the smart, can watch Conte dry joke. This guy, give this guy a set, man. What's he doing? But yeah, I think Arsenal have been great. And I've been pleasantly surprised by Eddie Nketiah. I think he's been very good. I know Newcastle game didn't go as well as we thought it would go, but that's just because they parked the bus from first half to all the way to the 95th minute. They parked it with no shames, and there's nothing you can do when someone does that. So, although I will say there were a few penalty shots, but we won't get into that. So I've been impressed by Arsenal. I thought Man City. Wait, yeah, I thought Man City, like you said, De Bruyne. I don't know what's going on with De Bruyne. He seems like he's at like 70%. Liverpool. Konate was lying to people at the World Cup. Clearly, came back, reverted back to himself. Van Dijk is injured now, so who knows how that's going to go. Chelsea, 10th now. I'll leave that to Mangora. I'm sure he has more to say there. United, surprisingly on the up. I did not expect that, but I guess going into the break, they were in good form, and Ten Hag is a good coach, so I think. And also, they managed to get rid of Cristiano Ronaldo, so maybe that helped things. And Ten Hag was always right about needing to get rid of this guy. So, yeah, and as you said, Newcastle looking good, looking good, looking like they're real challenges for the top four. So, yeah, I've been pleasantly surprised by the football, like the quality we've seen, and it gives me confidence that Arsenal can keep pushing through. We have some players who have been injured that are returning. Emma Smith Rowe. We've recalled one lone player to help us in the midfield. And of course, we are currently in pursuit of Mikhailo Mudryk, Ukrainian winger playing for Shakhtar Donetsk. So, as an Arsenal fan, it's looking good. It's looking really good. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of the great football we've been blessed with since the World Cup. Yeah. How about you, Mongor? How are you feeling? How are the Blues? Talk to us, my guy.
I've got jokes, nah. I've got jokes. I would say when I think about it currently, I think at the end of last year, I was at a point in time psychologically with this team that I just criticized everything. And I think this year, I'm going to take a different stance. I'm just going to keep quiet and just see how it all pans out because honestly, like, I've said my piece around the team, around Graham Potter, what I feel about him, the players he plays, the players. I'm not going to say anything about them anymore because they've countless times like they've proven me right, and I don't want to be right anymore. It's a new year. I don't want to be a know-it-all. I want to be a different kind of animal this year. I just want to be very free. Just tune in, watch, see what happens, and the Blues have had mixed results: a win, a draw, and a loss in the three games post World Cup, and it's been it's been a slog. I think all Chelsea supporters can agree with that. Even the game we won against Bournemouth, I was not too pleased. It's just Bournemouth at the end of the day, zero quality there. But what I would hope as we look at the business we're currently doing in the transfer window and we're trying to do, I wouldn't advise us to sign players over 100 million. We've learned the hard way with some players in the past that it's not worth it. But what I've been impressed by, the one thing that Mr. Potter, as much as I'm not his fan, he's actually impressed me. He's giving these children an opportunity. He's now building forward towards the future. And he's given up on the season. And I would certainly hope so. Like, I wouldn't mind us finishing between 8th and 10th this season, and they have no European football next year, and we grow from there and we go back into the Champions League because anything from fifth to seventh puts us in these not interesting European tournaments. Thursday night football and Sunday night football, it just kills it. I don't want any of that. I just want the Champions League or nothing, and I wouldn't mind finishing outside of that so that we can actually grow and he can start to implement his ideas. And the boy Connie Chukwemeka, I see more of him. Lewis Hall, see more of him. The youngsters, I'm a big proponent for the young players to be given a chance because you talk about growing the team going forward. We saw Benoit Badiashile sign. Now he can come in and play, and Trevor can play as well. Like the youngsters, like I'm a big proponent of seeing more kids in the team and going forward. And we forget about these old guys. They haven't delivered for us. They've disappointed us for the last 2 years. Let's stop persisting with them. It's a sign of madness. We're doing the same thing and hoping for different results. So that's just my viewpoint. I hope that this takes us forward and we start to build something going forward with this new proponent of like young kids that are actually doing well, and we're starting to sign more kids and actually bring the average age down of the team to a reasonable age. Like having, I love Thiago and Thiago Silva there at the back, sort of like Thiago. He's 38 years old. Come on, like, to give this man a break. This man hasn't rested since he came back from the World Cup. Like, he's supposed to get a break from time to time. So I would hope Potter continues with this, and it's not just a flash in the pan where just because he's lost the game, he's gonna throw in the kids. Like, throw in the kids, I agree, but then also just give them that development, give them time to make mistakes and learn from that, and we can go far. But yeah, the quality of soccer has been impressive post World Cup. The first game week was a bit dull. People, you could tell that they come from the World Cup, but apart from that, I've been pretty impressed with the team's fitness and all and the like. So we'll see how the rest of the season progresses.
Yeah, no, indeed, Mangoro. Actually, this is January, so the window is open for transfers. So actually, you know what? Let's talk a little bit about which team we think in the Premier League right now desperately need to make signings and for who. We saw Liverpool signed Cody Gakpo. He did pretty well for the Dutch in the World Cup, and we haven't seen him play yet. But I assume that we're gonna see him in the next game, the Liverpool play. Um, he can play now. He's eligible to start. But in my humble opinion, Liverpool did not need to buy Cody Gakpo. There was absolutely no reason whatsoever for them to buy Cody Gakpo. They should have bought a midfielder number one. That was their priority. Get yourself someone decent in the box, in the kitchen, like in the middle of the park. If not that, get yourself someone in the back, you know, because Trent, we know, is a liability at this point. Yeah, he might whip out a cross and insist, yeah, whatever. But for the most part, he's getting destroyed by the likes of Eze or Somerville or whatever it is. It's just it's embarrassing at this point. But anyway, it's January, so let me start by asking the boys here, like, who do y'all think, which team from you can see in the Premier League right now is in desperate need to make a signing in January, and who should go where? Liverpool for sure, in my opinion, need to sign themselves at least two young midfielders, like proper guys, and someone at the back to cover Van Dijk. Van Dijk is injured now. They can't be playing Trent at centre back. They'll get destroyed. So Liverpool club needs to just stop crying in the media, get himself in the market, buy your guys, because you can't keep saying you're not a big spender, you're not a big club to spend and spend time with the big boys, but you're dropping Guala on Gapco. Like, bro, like your front line costs more than most of the teams in Prem. So I don't know what you're crying about. So anyway, we haven't really seen a lot of transfers in and out as the January window has started, but I assume that as the month goes on, we will see a lot more transfers. I know Joao Felix is being, touted for a club or two. I know Chelsea are eyeing a couple of players. So let me actually start with Mangoro. Like, since Chelsea right now probably always need a new signing for whatever reason. I know you guys have a long list of injured players. Like, at least you're probably playing with your B team at this point because all your good guys, you just lost Mount and Pulisic this past week. So, Mangoro, what transfers do you think Chelsea need to make in this window? And should they just be short term fixes, or should they be like sign somebody who you believe will stay at Chelsea like longer term? What are your hopes and wants for January in that regard?
So with Chelsea, for me, it's just a couple of positions. Mainly, I think would need a right wing back or right back. I think Aspilicueta is not good enough. So if we can look in the market and find someone to fill in that void there at right back, I think Benjamin Pavard could be someone we looked at last summer. I think he'd be quite a decent deputy to Reece James when he's fit. Maybe I would not sign Enzo Fernandez, in my personal opinion. I would literally sign someone, another midfielder, probably in the summer. But I don't. Funny enough, I'd actually make the Dennis Zakaria loan permanent. I've been impressed with the 3 games he's played so far. He's pretty good. He's decent. Like he does a good job. That's what I was thinking of, and then maybe look up front because you saw with the boy Pierre, he was substituted on yesterday, did nothing, substituted back off in the same game. So that should tell you, like you're done at a club when they're putting midfielders there up front. They're putting children under tens to play there up front, and you're the center forward. You're assigned as a center forward to score goals, and they'd rather put midfielders there, young men there. So that should tell you something. So I think we may need to look in the market. There's been talk of Yusufa Mokoko. Be a good long term signing. He's out of contract in the summer, so we could get him for a bargain price. Another one I saw at the World Cup, Marcus Thuram, which in Gladbach are looking to offload him for 15, 20 million because he's out of contract in the summer. So those are the kind of signings I wouldn't even mind. We've been linked with Mikhailo Mudrik as well. Came out of left field, but it's another player. Like if the price is good, sure, why not? But certainly don't overpay. Samson, anyone you need there at the Emirates? I heard Joao Felix, but who knows there at Arsenal?
I do not want Joao Felix at Arsenal. I don't like people who, when they're teenagers, someone pays 120 million and now they want to make them our problem. That is an Atletico problem. They should deal with it. They should suffer with their poor financial decisions on their own. They should not come to us to bail them out. Because I know what they want. They want to loan him out to an English club. He has a solid 6 months, and then they try to convince someone in some league that hey, you can pay 80 million for this guy or 100 million for this guy. No, they deserve to swallow the 120 million and see that man walk away for free because they shouldn't have made that deal in the first place. Anyways, Arsenal, Mudrik should happen, needs to happen. Shakhtar, please let the man out from your jail. I mean, there's a war going on, for crying out loud. You have bigger things to worry about. Let that man come to us. Why are you holding him down, man? Why? Why are you doing this? Stop it, man. He wants to come to, like, he's been saying he wants to come to Arsenal since the summer. Like, come on, man. Let's do the deal. Like, anyways, Mudryk, Arsenal. Oddly enough, I think Man City could actually use a winger. I think they've lacked a bit of directness. For example, when they play Grealish on the left, Mahrez on the right hasn't always worked out. I know he scored last game, but that run he made and that goal he scored, he hasn't had too many moments like that. So another player could do something like that more often would be advantageous to them. But yeah, other than Arsenal, Man City, I'm not sure any other team should be looking to be making any signings really, unless it's like a long term thing. Because January is typically to strengthen your team as you prepare for the second part of the season. So unless you're really planning on a big push for something, you shouldn't really be spending much. Okay, the other team I would say is Newcastle. I think Newcastle can strengthen their midfield area because you saw against Newcastle, I mean against Arsenal, they struggled to play it out the back, and we basically stopped them from playing out the back by marking Bruno Guimaraes closely. If they could add to that midfield, get another quality player in there, that could help them strengthen their push for top four. United could also use with you could also use a forward because they've lost Ronaldo. He wasn't playing much to begin with, but Martial is always an injury risk, so getting another forward makes sense for them. But yeah, other than those teams, I don't really think anyone else should be spending. I mean, Spurs could spend, but yeah, I don't know where you'd spend the money because your team, I'm not sure if it's necessarily bad in terms of players on the pitch, or is the coach just bad? Because like you mentioned Brentford, you're horrible one half, you're brilliant the other half. So what does that say about who's running things? So yeah, that's what I think. I'm not sure every team should strengthen, but yeah, Newcastle, Arsenal, Man City, yeah, I think they could do with a few signings.
Yeah, you know what? To be honest, Tottenham needs to desperately make signings. I cringe every single time I see Brian Gill, Brian Hill, whatever you say his name, touch the pitch. And then see the brother Skip touch the pitch. I quiver. I want to cry. I want to break down and cry. Literally, like I want to cry when I see those two brothers on the pitch, and the fact that when we don't have Kulusevski and Bentancur in the game, we're struggling, and we have to depend on Harry Kane to do everything. Son, I think he's still finding his rhythm. He's not there yet. He's not at the place he needs to be at. Richarlison is injured currently. Lucas Moura, I think, is probably going to move ahead. He's probably going to lose him in January. We don't really need him anymore from what it looks like. So, and we still have the likes of Emerson Royale back there. We still have some very questionable characters back there. So Christian Romero is always like on the brink of a red card as well. So I think Tottenham, I have not been impressed. It's been painful watching my boys. Like, if we didn't score the 4 goals against Crystal Palace in the last game, I don't know where I would be right now. I have no idea where I would be right now. But, they did the things. I forgave them. But honestly, we need to make at least two new signings. I know we need two good players in the midfield just to cover us, man. Like I don't know why I thought we were buff when we were signing people in the summer. I don't know why Conte is not playing Jet Spence. Give the boy a chance. Like Mangoro says, I love the youth. And Jet Spence is clearly a decent enough player. I think just give the man some time, please. Just throw him on there. Let him make mistakes, but he'll learn. That's our future right there. Like use him, you know. But I do hope, if Arsenal wants Joao Felix, we'll take him. It's fine. It's fine. Bring him over. It's okay. Like I don't care at that point. I don't care at this point. We need someone that can give Harry Kane a break and actually concentrate on being a center forward. Because right now, this man is up top, in the middle, and in the back. He's just a man. Soon enough, he's going to get injured and we're done. We'll finish 10th. Like, once we lose Kane, we're finished. So I don't want that future. Like, we need someone to take that on. So I don't know who we need to sign, but I do know that we need to sign at least a couple players. a couple Spanish players. I think we need like some Spanish influence in Tottenham just to liven things up a little bit, you know? Or even like another Brazilian, somebody. Like, it can't be that hard. Just go to Sao Paulo, like Levy, I know you're listening to this. Just please get on a plane, fly into Brazil, pick a random kid from the street. I don't care who you pick. Just go and pick a couple of kids that you see in the playground. I don't care who they are. Just somebody. We'll take them. We'll take them. Give them visas, give them green cards. I don't know what you have to do. Promise them something, but bring them over. Throw them on the pitch. They don't even have to speak English. Like someone will find them. Richarlison could be a new teacher. That could be his new passion project. Like teaching these kids how to speak English and like translating for you. I don't care. Just please just make the trip. But Samson, what do you take about that?
I think it's funny what you just said because if you do that, there's a very good chance, yes, you will go and you'll pick up Martinelli. Oh, another Anthony. Oh, Neymar. Oh, Gabi Jesus. But for every one of those special players that you might pick up, remember, there's also players like Fred that you might pick up who might actually fit right in. Fit right in that Spurs. But yeah, what I was going to ask you is that I know a lot of clubs which had Argentinian players did like a special celebration thing when the players came back. I don't remember seeing much about Christian Romero and Spurs, any sort of celebration. Did you guys do that? Because if you did, I totally missed it.
Sangi, I could care less about Argentinian players. So I hope they didn't do anything for him. I hope he's salty about that. That's my hope. That's my own personal hope. I'm actually happy they didn't do anything for him. If they didn't, if they did, okay, fine. I have no idea. Maybe that's why he's been trying to get a red card all these few last games. Maybe he's mad. Like he didn't get anything. So, if that's the case, it is what it is.
Brother, you need to let it go, man. You need to heal. Need healing, man. Also, I must say, I cannot imagine how it must feel like. We talk about Joao Felix to Tottenham. Imagine the pain, because I've been reading stuff about Joao Felix. Apparently, he's been playing at left wing back in some games for Diego Simeone. Dear listener, if you don't know anything about Joao Felix, is that he's a 10. That's his position. He's been playing left wing back. I cannot imagine escaping the hell that is Diego Simeone only to play for Antonio Conte. Like that is actually painful. I would like the move for Tottenham. I think he will do well for you guys, but woof. I'm sure he'll be looking at that contract as it comes and just having heart palpitations like, damn, I don't want to go back. I can't go back, man. I just escaped. I can't go back. But yeah, I hope you guys can send someone who improves your squad, man.
Yeah, man. You know what? We'll see. But let me take it over to Mangoro. I know Mangoro wanted to just let us dive into the next segment of the pod here, which is looking at teams and how we've ranked them or how they've been doing, from the first half of the season and where they are now and how we think they're doing. But Mangoro, I'll let you take the lead on that. So, how's about you take us through, my guy?
Oh, wonderful. Listener, we've been watching EPL from August the 6th, I believe, through January the 5th, 2023. And we're technically at the halfway point. I'll call it the halfway point. It's not literally it. Like most teams have played 17, 18 games. And we just wanted to just do a quick round robin on like all these teams and just give them a grade on where we saw them at the beginning of the season and where we thought they'd be, and actually assess these teams. Actually give them a scorecard, give them a grade from A to F. And I think, listener, you don't understand what the grade, you know what the grade that you open in school, I would hope. You know what these grades all mean, honestly, listener. So we will start at the top, and it's just going to be nice and brief, nice and short. It won't be too long. There's 20 teams, 20 different coaches. Well, actually, more than 20 coaches because some coaches have been fired, i.e., Steven Gerrard. So I think we can just start from the top. They say the good things. It's better to start from the top. Apparently, Arsenal fans have been saying that. So I'm just putting it out there, listener. I'm just putting it out there. I don't know if it's true or not, but we can start with Arsenal. And for me personally, Arsenal, they have surpassed my expectations. I saw them in the top four this year, not where they are currently, so I'll give them a solid A. Brothers, take it away.
I think I'll give Arsenal an A+ because I thought they'd finish in the top four. I remember a lot of brothers told me fifth was the ceiling. I'm certain Gary Neville said that. Gary Neville, I know you're listening. I know you're listening. You said fifth was our ceiling. Look at us now, A+.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'd give Arsenal a humble A minus because um, they can be better. You know, they could have done more at this point. Like I think they've exceeded my expectations for sure, but in certain aspects as well, they've met my expectations when it comes to like defensively. You know, they're still led by a couple of goals here and there. You know, but maybe this is just me nitpicking. But yeah, you know what? Arsenal doing well. Their players are doing well. Like my FPL team is full of Arsenal players right now. So you know what? It's fine. Like I'll give you an A minus. Martinelli's been doing great. Jesus before he got injured, he was doing great. Saka is picked up after the World Cup, but he was also doing decently. Odegaard, he's been amazing for you guys lately. So yeah, you know what? A minus. But I just want to point this out, listener. When we recorded the first episode last year, our first episode was actually Are Arsenal title contenders? Funny enough, they did not win the league and they were fighting at this time. So maybe it's gonna be a repeat, but who knows? But that's just my own 2 cents. I just want to ruffle Samson's feathers. Over to you, Mangoro.
Certainly ruffle those feathers. I think they're actually riding quite high now, and maybe as a soccer fans would say, they need a humbling. But certainly, I think the next team here, I think this season they've received a humbling. I don't think they're the same. They thought bringing Erling Haaland will finish the Premier League. I certainly thought so. Manchester City sitting in second place, 5 points behind Arsenal, and I would give them an A actually, like a good solid A. I think they've integrated Holland very well. They still look as dangerous as they did last season. Injuries have plagued their defense, but they've been able to come out of that. And as you know, a 5 point gap to Pep is literally nothing. It's practically the same. This man has come back from 13 points, so I think I'd give Man City an A, and I'll go to you, Mr. Mutsa, and then over to you, Mr. Sangi.
You know, for our other boys there in blue, I think I would give Man City a strong B plus. I have expected a lot more from them. They are a little leaky. They're not keeping as many clean sheets. They actually were doing well in the first half of the season. I'll give them that. I think Holland has definitely helped them a lot, but I think it's also been a bit of their weakness because yeah, I think there's still a lot more that they can do. But just because they have Holland, you know, like you heard that Jack Grealish's interview the other day, it was just like he didn't even look up. He was like, let me just cross the ball. I'm sure Erling is swimming somewhere in the box. That's the vibe at City right now. Just chuck it. Hopefully Erling is somewhere in the periphery. But B plus for City. Samson?
I think I'd agree with that. B+. I also thought they'd be better. I thought Erling Haaland would break the league and just. I mean, I thought they'd still be beatable, but like I thought that would be the thing that just pushes them over, especially in the big games. When I look at the games they've lost and the games they've drawn, like it's not like they can play way better than that. Like the Liverpool loss surprised me. I was like, that Liverpool team, this Man City, like they should have demolished them, like for sure. And the fact that they number one struggled to have shots and they looked leaky as well. Liverpool could have had three or four. Yeah, I think they could do a lot better at this point, and that's why I was saying they could use a signing probably as well, just to make that attack a bit more potent. So yeah.
Great stuff. They're great stuff, Mr. Masanga. And in third place, we have the Toonami, Newcastle United, led by the young Eddie Howe. Interesting fact there, listener. When Eddie Howe took over last December, Newcastle, they were 19th. A year later, exactly a year later, they stood in third place in the EPL. And for me, I think this is the team of the year from personally, from where they've come from and where they are today. It goes to show that if you sign three or four quality players rather than signing 27 players like our brothers at the Forest did. It takes you somewhere. And as you can see here, they're sitting in third place. So for me personally, give them a nay. Shout out to Joelinton. Used to be a flop, and now he's turned into a Rolls Royce of a midfielder.
You know what? I'll give Newcastle an A plus plus. Like for me, they get the highest grade in the Prem right now. Like Almiron has been a man on a mission. He wants to do everything he can. Trippier is like killing it. Pope is killing it. Shar is doing well. So Eddie Howe deserves manager of the month for every month until the Premier League finishes. That man is doing wonders there in Newcastle. But yeah, A plus plus. Samson.
Yeah, I don't know if they still do A stars in high schools, but yeah, if they do, these guys deserve it. A star. Like you guys touched on Eddie Howe, great job he's done. And is staggering for me about this is that they're this good, but they didn't even get all the signings they wanted in the summer. And their big signing is injured and hasn't played many games. He's played like one game or two games. And he scored in the first game he played against Liverpool, Alexander Isak. And when he's fit, they could be even better. So yeah, A star for them.
Yeah, I certainly would agree. They definitely deserve an A star. You know how, like in kindergarten, they used to put like a star on your forehead when you were killing it. I think Hill would certainly to do that with Eddie Howe. He's nice and short. We can put it there on his forehead as well. But in fourth place, we have Manchester United. I think this is the one that maybe split opinion. They sit in fourth, tied on points with Newcastle, and they've just been slowly going under the radar. They had the Harry Maguire debacle to deal with at the beginning of the season when Ten Hag came in. They had the Martinez problem, shortest defender in the world. They had De Gea doing his thing. They had Mr. Interview himself, Mr. CR7, and they were able to go through all those storms and just get back to playing good soccer. And they sit in fourth place. And for me personally, that's also an A. I think not a lot of people agree with it, but I think just to come through all of that and still at this point be in a good place, I think they're doing well. Mr. Masanga, would you agree, Mr. Mutsa? You can take it after. You can take it after.
Um, yeah, I would agree. I'd still give them an A minus just because I think I do like as much as I want to give Ten Hag credit for the last. I think they're on a 14 game unbeaten run in the last across all competitions. As much as I want to give him credit for that, I have to give him some criticism for those early days because those were horrid. But like you said, they've righted the ship. A lot of things are going the right way. They've gotten some youngsters on the pitch. Young Garnacho is looking good, and players who have been off form for a very long time, Shaw, Rashford, even Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, are looking like they might be getting back, to their best. So yeah, it's looking good, A minus, and I think United fans can be hopeful of the future. Even though you've lost Ronaldo, you are broke by all accounts, by all reports, and you might not sign anyone, but things are going well, and I think the future is bright, definitely with Ten Hag at the helm.
Yeah, honestly, the only thing I'd give Man United an A for is that Ronaldo interview, but that's about it. I'm sure the brothers have been improving because, Jimmy. I heard through the grapevine that the gym equipment has been updated since the man spewed the guts on Pierce Morgan's interview. That's why you see Marcus Rashford. He's now killing the game. Luke Shaw is now is now a CB. He's now stopped eating chocolate cake. They're feeding him proper nutritious meals. It just vibes at Man United. It just vibes. So for anything, just because of that, I'll give them an A. But looking at them holistically, I still would give Man United. I think I'll give them a B plus. I'm still not fully convinced that they have it together. Like I think there's too many cracks that they need to fix. Um, I think they're still working on things. Ten Hag sitting Rashford out. Of that game that they needed him. I think it was against Crystal Palace. I can't actually remember which game it was, but apparently he was late to a meeting, and Ten Hag was like, "Yeah, bro, you're missing the first half." Sat him out. By God's grace, Rashford scored, but that could have backfired. So I'm still not convinced by Ten Hag right now, and I think a B plus suffices because I don't think they're great. I don't think they're an A level yet, but they're not doing as bad as they did in the beginning. So they're building the grade up. So B for me.
Interesting you say that. I think this probably bodes well to our next team here, building the grade up. And we have Tottenham. Tottenham, for me, at the beginning of the season, after the signings they made, there was a lot of chatter in the media that they'll be title contenders, if not solid top four contenders. And they're sitting in fifth place, and the soccer they've displayed this season, the ups and downs, I would give them a very strong C. I think they deserve a strong C. Maybe they can build that grade up, as you said. But for me personally, like what I've seen from them this season, post World Cup, pre World Cup, it's not been beautiful. Mr. Mori, I think this one is for you personally, and then over to you, Mr. Masanga.
You know, Mangoro, today the listeners have a little treat because I fully agree with you. A strong C. Tottenham, nothing there. Nothing's going on. I'm not convinced. I am not convinced. I think there's a lot that needs to happen. So C for Conte. Sangi, over to you.
I think some people might look at Spurs and say, you know what, they're fifth, 2 points behind third. You can't criticize them too much, but you can because Spurs, you talk about the traditional Big Six. Spurs were in there in the beginning. They were third. They were right behind Arsenal and Man City for the first 6, 7 weeks. They were right there. So this drop, and it's been since like November, where you've just had awful results. Like that shouldn't happen. Like the kind of results you guys have been getting are so bad, given how good it was in the beginning. Like it's night and day. It's like seeing a team that's top for quality and then seeing a relegation team the very next week. That is bad. So yeah, C minus. I would give an F for that brother Conte because if you have such dips in performances as a manager, man, like because being a coach is all about consistency, man. Like, what are you preaching on the training ground? How do you go from being excellent to poor in the space of a game, let alone a week? A game, like F for that guy, man. Get him out of there.
Sure, those are some strong opinions. I don't know if you'll share those same strong opinions for our next team here. Sitting on 28 points, which is very surprising. 17 games played, 28 points for our friends over there at Anfield, Liverpool. And for me, I think just the fact that they're just below 30 points at this point in the season. And they used to average like 45 or high 30s at this point. The fact that they even haven't touched 30 at this point, I think for me they deserve a D. Like some of the stuff that they've displayed this season, I think it's safe to say even Klopp's antics, I think in the media, borderline pushes them to an E. But I think they're probably a D at this point. Like what they've displayed this season, I think Liverpool fans will agree with that. I'll go back to you, Mr. Masanga. Would you agree or disagree? And over to you, Mr. Moore, as well.
I would agree. I'd even go further. I'd say E, because like again, you talk about the swings in quality, but also the thing about Liverpool is that, okay, like they've had swings, but it hasn't even gotten to the brilliant part yet. It's been like really, really bad and good, okay, in certain times. Because like you look at the games they've won since the World Cup came, so after the World Cup, they beat Leicester, which they were very fortunate to win, and they lost to Brentford. Like they should have lost both. Like their play made them to deserve was deserving of two losses, but they made it through one. So for them, I was critical of Conte, give him an F. Klopp, you also deserve an F because you haven't figured out your defense or attack the whole season. You haven't found a lineup that works. Playing Nunes left wing. I've been watching. F. The rest of the team, D. Like these guys, sometimes they just give up on the pitch. Van Dijk the other day gave up. We've seen Trent give up. Like he's chasing someone and he just stops. That is just DE behavior right there. Cannot go any higher than that.
Yeah, no, for Liverpool, E for empty. That's what it is. E for empty. No juice. No juice at all. That's that. I might just end it right there. And people know what I'm talking about. E for empty. That's just how it is for Liverpool everywhere. Mangoro, over to you.
Interesting you say that. Now we have maybe the other darlings of the Premier League. And I think it's only right that I put all three of these teams together because for me personally, I'd give them a very, very strong B, all three of them. Fulham, Brighton, Brentford. Those three teams with me, like, y'all can talk about them separately, but for me, I think of all three of them deserving a very strong B, B plus, B star, whatever you have there in your plethora of letters or vocabulary. And I think for me, that's where they are. I think they've displayed that you shouldn't be afraid to come to the Premier League and play your style and push it forward, even though you're newly promoted, and not be afraid of these teams that exist in the Premier League because you've seen what they've displayed. Brentford literally had a field day with Liverpool the other day, and Brighton had a field day with Chelsea there against the man that was their coach previously, Graham Potter. And Fulham has had a wonderful day. Mitrovic, people questioned if he could do it in the Premier League. He had been there for 3 years, and now we're seeing the fruit of Mitrovic. So all those three teams, I'd say, definitely a B. And Mr. Mori, I think you can take it away. You are a big Brentford supporter, so let's see what you have to say.
Yeah, no, I think B's are resounding. I think definitely Fulham. I give them a B plus. Brentford, I I'd give them a B, and Brighton. I think I'd also give. You're right. They're all in the same boat, but I think Fulham just edges them just a little bit more because I think that Fulham have been doing exceptionally well. They seem to have made the right signings, and yeah, they just Brentford on the up and up. So I think Brentford could encroach into the B plus A minus area very very soon. If Tony stays and if he's not going somewhere for his addiction to betting on games. But over to you, Samson.
I would agree with Mangor. I think all three teams deserve a B, but also kind of agree with Musa, and I would just edge Fulham a little bit just because Arsenal destroyed Brentford 3-0. Um, Brighton threw away a 3-1 lead against Liverpool, but Fulham needed a last-minute winner from Arsenal to lose that game, and they also gave, I think it was Liverpool, I think they beat Liverpool. So for me, they're doing a slightly better because in the big games they really do show up and give people a tough time. So A minus for Fulham, the rest B's.
Moving on to our team in 10th place here, the Blues, sitting comfortably there from what I'm seeing, led by Mr. Graham Potter. I think for me, I think I will give them a strong E. I think they deserve an E for where they are. They so when I thought about Chelsea, I thought about two things: where are Chelsea right now, and where are Chelsea going forward? And if Thomas Tuchel, Todd Bowley, and Ekbali were still running the club the way they were running it in the summer, I would have given them an F. But with the people they have in place right now, Paul Stanley, Lawrence Stewart, Christopher Vival as like the technical recruiting team, and the guy over Joe Shields from Southampton and Man City. Like now, there's a group of people in the background actually doing the transfers properly, not what we were doing last summer, and seeing the vision on like signing these young, prosperous players that are going to be hot in the future. Yokani Chukwuemeka's, love that guy. I think that's why I'd give them an E, not an F. The performances on the field currently have shown me that they deserve an F, but the prospect of the people they're signing in the back end and potentially they're going to sign going forward puts them at an E for me, and I think that E is very strong. And then we can head over to you, Mr. Sangi, and then you, Mr. Mori.
I think I'd agree. I'd give them an E for everyone because everyone is out of form right now at Chelsea. Absolutely everyone. You guys are like peak Arsenal banter era where everyone's terrible and the only bright spots are the young players. Full rebuild mode, and I support it. I hope Potter can grow those young kids and they can become future stars. Remember, I messaged Mangor the other day jokingly that he'll one day refer to these guys as the class of 23. I hope for your sake, Mangor, and all Blues fans everywhere, that is the case.
Yeah, Chelsea for me is an interesting case because it's not really like straightforward for me. In my heart of hearts, I want to give Chelsea a C because I think Potter still needs some time to figure things out, and I think he's getting there. They've had a few horrible players, like a few horrible things, but for the most part, being terrible, terrible. This being lackluster. So I think I would also just give Chelsea a C, and I think they have the potential to do better depending on what they do next. But Chelsea is a C for me. Over to you, Magara.
Yeah, so I think we'll stop there, listener. I think you see from 11 to 20. Personally, I don't want to waste a lot of time. I just want to keep it simple. I would like to give every team from Aston Villa all the way to Southampton an F. All of them. They deserve it because they've done very strange things. Aston Villa changed their manager. Palace lost 4-0 to Spurs. Leicester, that guy was on a hat trick of own goals the other day. Uh, Leeds, like Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth got hit 9. West Ham have been so poor this year. Like, it's just not been great. I think Leeds went probably 3 months without winning a game. Everton, Lampard is on the brink. Southampton, change managers look even worse. Wolves, they can't even score a goal, so there's no need in grading those. What do y'all think?
I would agree, but I would give Aston Villa and Crystal Palace E's or D's, because I feel like them it's like, when someone submits like an incomplete and you're not really sure, like, is this guy a genius or are they just lazy? Like, you know what I mean? So for them, E's, but everyone else, yes, because everyone else is like in the relegation race. Below Crystal Palace, everyone is deep in the relegation race as we speak. Leicester have 17 at 13th, all the way to 18th. That's Everton with 15. Like, that's horrendous, man. That is so like that's a U. Remember when we had a U's where you don't even get a grade? It's just a U, and like I don't even remember what a U means, but it basically means you just don't have a grade. And those guys, they do not deserve a grade. They suck. Like, you cannot be in a relegation race at 13th place. Like, what's going on, man?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Crystal Palace for me is probably the only one that I'd actually give like a D or E, because I think Patrick Vieira is trying his absolute best to make sure these brothers move ahead. And we've seen Olise is doing well now, Eze is doing well, Zaha has even picked up a little bit. But yeah, I certainly would give Crystal Palace a little bit of a little grace. I think they're figuring things out, and that's the team with the most of the brothers. Like I think they're our black team in the Premier League, our little Africa there. So I have to support the brothers. But yeah, so it's a young D for them. But listener, we'll see what happens in the next few games and the next things as roll out, and we'll grade them again. And hopefully a lot of these teams improve what they're doing. But we certainly hope that you agree, or maybe if you disagree with us, let us know. Follow us on our Instagram. We're there. Just type on Instagram, The Forest Brothers Podcast. You will find us. We're very active. We're often on Twitter at The Forest, BRTHRS, The Forest Brothers. So follow us on Twitter, you know. Buy us a coffee as well. Listen, if you love us and you're like, what, these guys, that was spot on. On our Instagram page there, click on the link, buy us a young coffee. We stay up late, bring you content. So if you love what you're hearing, listener, we're there. We'll accept it. We love you. And and you love us too. So it's all right. It's all right. So so yeah, definitely tell your friend about the pod, share it, follow us on Insta, like us on Spotify or Apple to make sure that any new incoming episode you get the notification. Because this year, listener, is going to be the biggest year yet. Best believe. So as we close out, I'll let my brother Mangoro and Samson say their goodbyes. I'll start with you, Sangi, and then to Mangoro, and then we'll be closing it out.
Dear listener, thank you for once again rocking with us today. I'd like to thank my two brothers for once again being with me on the pod. Mari Mangoro, always great doing this with you. And yeah, like the man said, follow us on social media, buy us that coffee, I'll take a caramel macchiato myself. I'm not sure about the two brothers, but that's just me. And yeah, always great being here with you guys, and looking forward to a very great and prosperous Jordan year. I hope you stay rocking with us, and as we bring you more and more content. So yeah, peace out. Catch you next time.
Listener, if you do take the time to purchase some coffee for the Forest Brothers podcast, I think I'm a big fan of salted caramel latte. I think that's the one for me. Just a regular 16-ounce coffee. I think that will go a long way for your brother here from the forest. But honestly, listener, thank you for taking the time. I think we'd like to thank you. I don't think we do this enough, but like just to thank you that you've been with us through this journey, and as we continue to expand and grow into new platforms and new possibilities, you continue to stick with us through the easy and difficult times. I think that goes a long way. Like I think that's what makes us what we are today, and what motivates us to bring more content to you into the new year and the following years and stuff like that. So anyways, like yeah, this listener, I could go on and just talking about you, but time is of the essence. Your time is very critical to you, so I'd like to return back your time. But yeah, listener, thank you for taking the time today, and I'd like to give some shout outs here to my two brothers. It's been a long year for us together as the First Brothers podcast. I'd like to give a shout out to Mr. Mori, who's been with us from the jump, doing all our marketing, and Mr. Masanga, who's been doing all our tech and all our tech and just all our editing and all that stuff. And just to give them a shout out, new year, new possibilities, listener. Catch you on the next one.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Thank you so much, Mangoro. And listener, we will catch you on the next one and the next episode. Actually, we have a really good episode coming, the next one. So you do not want to miss that one. Trust me, it's going to be good. It's going to be exceptional. We have a very special guest planned. So make sure you tune into the next episode.